Hello everyone. Just making a quick video to show you a little bit about the watercolor paints that we're using today. So for this project that we're working on, it looks a bit like tie-dye, so I'm going to show you how I did that. But first we kind of have to talk about the way the colors mix. So I'm going to suggest that, so here's my watercolors. I'm doing this with one hand so it's a little wobbly. And I have my water right here. So let's talk about the colors first and how we use the watercolor paints. I'm going to ask that you don't mix your colors in the tray. And I'm actually going to ask that you use probably only the primary colors today and maybe a little bit of purple. So the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Okay? Red and yellow make orange. Yellow and blue make green. Red and blue make purple. It's okay if you forget this. It's not a big deal. I'm going to have it on the board. When we use our watercolors, you always have to clean your brush in between. Otherwise, your color that you used will get into the pan. And I spent a lot of time the other day and with some students cleaning out some of these. So make sure you're not mixing them in here. If you want to mix them, I do have something you can do that in. So I wet my brush and I'm going to show you what it looks like on dry paper. So I'm going to grab some red. This is our primary color, red. And notice when I put it on the tray, I'm not scrubbing my brush really hard, because if I scrub my brush, it's not going to be a pretty brush anymore, and you won't have a nice tip and it'll get everywhere. So we just go gently into the watercolor, just back and forth, not scrubbing really hard or circling it really hard. It's just a nice little dab in there. You want to get a nice bunch of color on the tip of your brush. Okay? And then you just kind of put it on the page. Okay, there we go. There's red. Now if I take my yellow, see, I'm just dipping my brush once and then coming in and getting the color here. You don't need to put a lot of water on your brush, because if you make a big puddle in here, it's going to eat the paint away. See how the green is eaten away? There was a big pile of water there that dried and ate the paint. So you don't need a lot of water in there. Once it's wet, it's wet. You just need a clean brush. So here's the yellow. Okay, and I'm doing it on a dry piece of paper. See how it's not spreading a whole bunch? It goes where my brush puts it. Now if I mix red and yellow, what's that going to give you? Orange. So let me drag some red over into the yellow. And once I do that, I can mix it on my page, that's fine. But now I can't dip in the red or the yellow because I have both of them on there. It's orange. I'm going to add a little more yellow to it. See how it's turning orange? Cleaning my brush. It's really wet, so I'm dabbing it off. Grabbing some more yellow because I want it to be a different orange. Okay, there's orange. And I told you blue is the other primary color. Grabbing some blue. Again, I'm not scrubbing my brush. Alright, so I grabbed some blue. Remember, I'm not scrubbing my brush around, just dabbing it lightly to get some color on. Working on my dry paper. My brush goes where I want the color to go. There's the blue. Blue and yellow make what? Blue and yellow make green. So I'm going to mix them in here. And now we're getting some green. Okay, I can't put that in here because it's going to change the color on there. Cleaning off my brush. Lots of water on the brush. Cleaning some of it off because my watercolor is already wet enough. Okay. If I want a lighter green, I add some more yellow. Now we're starting to get a rainbow. Now if I add some red to the blue, I should start to get a purple. There we go. So there we have a rainbow of colors, and all I used was red. So I've got a rainbow of color, and all I used was 3 colors: red, yellow, and blue. And that gave me all the colors in between, your orange, your green, and your purple. Alright, clear as mud, right? Next, These colors mix all nice when they're side by side. You have to be careful when you start mixing opposite colors. Okay, those are like your holiday colors if you think of them. So let's see. If I have a red, okay, and green, those are holiday colors. Red and green. Red and yellow make orange. Green is made with yellow and blue. You can't mix all three of those colors together or you'll get brown. So if I mix these opposite colors together, a primary and a secondary, I'm going to get brown. They might not look so nice together. Red and green make brown. Let's see, another opposite would be blue and orange. Watch what happens. Blue and orange make brown. They're opposites. That's another one. Let's see. Purple is very pretty on its own. Yellow. All right, we're back. Yellow is very nice on its own, nice and bright. But together, they're going to make a brown. Okay, anything that gets all three colors together is going to make brown. So it's tricky. It takes a little bit of thinking. So that's why I say stick with orange, or not orange, stick with red, yellow, and blue to mix your colors. And then you might have to think a little less. All right, let's look at the project now. If you have any questions, you can always raise your hand and let me know. So here we have a clean face. We're going to be using a wet paper and our colors. So I'm taking my brush, I'm getting it nice and wet with clean water, and I'm going to put the water where I want my paint to be. Now this is less control than what I just showed you. So I'm taking my wet brush, and let's say I want to start with the forehead. So I'm wetting my paper. This is special watercolor paper, so the water doesn't soak in. So I'm just wetting the part that I want. Now I'm going in and I'm thinking about my colors, and I know that red and yellow are great together. I know that if they accidentally mix, they're going to make orange, and that's okay. So let's see. I put some red on my brush, and I'm not going to paint it on. I'm just going to dip my brush into the water, and look how it spreads. And then dips another one here and all around. Really neat. If you want to, you can move your page a little bit, but you don't really have control. If you want some drips, you can lift it up a bit, and it'll start to drip. Whoa. If it's too much, you can take a little paper towel and dab it. For this project, we want it to stay a little bit in the lines. All right, now I'm going to take some yellow, and I'm dabbing that into the wet that's already there, and it's going to turn orange. I'm going to come underneath that red, and I'm going to add a little more water. If I touch my water to the water that's already there, look what happens. It just flows right into what's there. So I don't necessarily always want that to happen, and if you don't want that to happen, don't touch the water together. I know that red and blue are okay together. They're going to make a purple. Now, a little bit of yellow did sneak into that, so I have to be careful because purple and yellow make brown, and blue and red make purple, so I might get a little bit of brown there. I'm taking the risk though. And I'm going to come over to this side, trying not, oh, I touched it by mistake. That's all right. And I'm going to put some blue over here. Remember, you don't want your brush too wet because look, my watercolors are already wet. So I'm just dabbing the extra water off, okay? Grabbing some blue, and I'm going to dab it over here and let it flow around. Remember, purple and yellow make brown. So if blue and red mix to make purple and it touches a yellow, it's going to turn brown. Takes a while to get used to those things. Let's see, down here I know that blue and yellow will be okay, so I'm going to get the chin wet, and I'm going to grab a little bit of yellow, and dab it in and pull it up through. So I've got a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow happening. I want, let's see, I'm going to do a little more yellow in here. And I'm going to be a little adventurous. I'm going to take some of my yellow and some of the green that's already made in here, and I'm just going to dab it into the yellow because yellow and blue make green. So I know green will be okay with yellow because yellow makes green. And I know I can take green and dunk it in the blue because blue and yellow make green. But red and green make brown. So I'm not going to touch it there because I don't want any brown there. Okay? And that's where I'm going to stop because if I mix them all together, it's going to be all brown. And when it dries, it'll turn out like this. Now if you want, as a bonus, when it's still wet like this, you can take some salt and you just sprinkle a little bit on. You don't need a whole bunch, you just sprinkle a little bit on, and the salt will soak up your paint and make little patterns like this on your painting when it dries. Okay? So there you have it. If you have any questions, raise your hand and I will come to you.